Welcome back to the Office Marketing Podcast with Mike Sweigart, the podcast all about sales tips, mindset, and value bombs. 5 questions to help make your day more productive and learn a thing or two. Here is your host, best-selling author, Mike Sweigart.
Hey everybody, Mike Sweigart here. I'm going to do a little series here on the podcast where I'm going to address some of the biggest questions that I get asked by my clients on a regular basis. So one of the first and biggest questions I ever get is, where do we start? Many people that know me know that in 2020, I did my 3rd Ironman. And if you know anything about Ironman week, you get there about 4 or 5 days before the race. And then about 3 days before the race, they set up the start line. And last year it was, a very large start line because they were keeping everybody spaced out. So here it was, this huge start line. So 2 days before the race, you could kind of go down there and you knew exactly where it was going to start. And then the day before the race, it got a little more ominous because you were kind of like, 24 hours from now, I'm going to be standing here looking out into this Gulf of Mexico, about ready to swim 2.4 miles. And it's labeled. It has a big start line, and you could see how you're going to come from where you're, setting up your stuff in the morning to where you're going to go before the sun even truly fully comes all the way up. There's your start line. And as I was kind of putting this together today, I wish it was that clear for marketing because it really isn't. I mean, no one really says, okay, this is where you start. This is the best way to do your marketing. No one does that. But I will tell you, one thing I do with my clients, one of the very first things, one of the best things you can ever do when it comes to your marketing is really identify, just like you identify the start at the race, identify who you want to serve. Identify who you really, really want to bring value to, and then get even more granular. Get absolutely more granular. If you feel like you're great at people in this age group or companies of this size, or you're great at this, this vertical, or people that are in this type of building, that's okay to do, right? You're literally getting extremely, it's called building an avatar is really, if you want to get into sort of like a technical term. But when you're thinking about where do I start for my marketing and any sort of lead generation, is really identify who that is. If you can get very, very, very granular about this is the type of person that I like to serve. And then check yourself. Make sure that you have a very clear value for that person you want to serve. So if you don't have the products or a real value for that clientele, just kind of rethink it. You can either change, the products that you offer, or you can change, kind of rethink who that clientele is. So absolutely unequivocally, the best place to start when it comes to your marketing is identifying who you want to serve. That will help you so much. And then the next thing you do is identify if that market is big enough for you to generate the revenue that you want to generate for you and your company.
This episode of the Office Marketing Podcast is brought to you by Fusion Advisory. We help commercial contractors generate leads online profitably. Check us out at fusion-advisory.com.
So let's just say you only want to serve, for instance, periodontist, and you're in Opp, Alabama, and there's one periodontist. Well, that periodontist better have enough money to, take care of you and your company and whatever you want to make. But if you want to say periodontist in Atlanta or periodontist in New York City or LA, there's a much bigger market. So just kind of think, who do I want to serve? And then are there enough of them for me to do a clear marketing plan and bring value to them on a consistent basis? Then the next step, okay, so now we've identified them. We've identified if there's enough of them. Next thing we need to do is we need to build our list, right? We identify our list. It doesn't necessarily need to be a list because you're saying, these are the people I'm going to blitz in an email campaign or so forth. But sometimes building the list is really identifying the key people that you would like to bring value to on a consistent basis. Later on in this series, I'm going to talk about a Dream 100, but that's really where a lot of great salespeople could benefit, is identifying who they want to serve, and then actually identifying them, building that list. And then it's like, okay, well, I want to serve these people in sort of a broadcast marketing, and these people I want to make sure I'm in front of on a regular basis. But these people I'm going to target, sort of that rifle approach. I want to go one-on-one and go after them. So as we're building out lists, it's a broad bulk list. Then we're getting into in front of, and sometimes that's an association you're a member of. And then it's absolutely unequivocally those key people. Okay, guys. So those are your first 3 steps. Identify who you want to serve, identify if there's enough of them, and then go ahead and build your list. That's exactly where I'd start. Take it from me and go attack the day. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening to the Office Marketing Podcast. Be sure to join the conversation on our YouTube channel, LinkedIn, and Facebook pages. If you enjoyed the episode, head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.